Hey guys, can you see me now? Can you hear me? Good. Sorry about that. Still working on my streaming skills. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being patient. Sorry again. I don't know what I did. I probably did something to the settings. I will need to rework this later. All right. Well, again, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. I know Mondays. We usually skip Mondays because I do have a performance coaching session with the Traders Lab members. If you guys are still thinking about it, you should go for it. It's totally worthy. It's totally worthy. Not only because you will have lifetime access to live trading, the community, and all that, but also you will have a ton of coaches interaction, and the just the coaching sessions are amazing, and everything it's like new content. So if you have the opportunity to jump into Traders Lab, go for it. Right. So let's do it. I just want, yeah, exactly, Chen. I just want to confirm that you actually can watch my screen well. For some reason, it's like going for the whole screen a bit too small. Uh, is it too different than the usual, guys? Can you? It's just very wide. Well, for being honest, I don't know how to do it, to change it. So I'm gonna stream like this just for today. Uh, you will find out about how I was spotting uh, the different break and retest opportunities, and I promise that tomorrow everything will be back to normal. All right. Okay. Unless you tell me that this is just this is too much. I mean, if you can't actually watch anything, I just reset it. Uh, do you want me to continue like this, or should I try to do something and start later? It's okay. All right. Thanks, Don. Thank you, Dijan. All right. So today was a tricky day because at the open we had this rip on both indices. I'm not gonna lie, I was fake out by this strong momentum at the open. I'm I'm actually not sure what happened. I mean, why it stopped? Because there was no news, and we never hit like any relevant key level anywhere. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if on ES maybe ES. Um, no. Right. So yeah. So I'm really not sure what happened today, right? But anyways, I mean, what we do is we watch and we wait and we react to key level. So uh, just again for the ones that it's their first time here on these trade reviews, what we try to do is to find out what the indices were doing, like if they are uptrending, downtrending, or just inside of a range. And after we kind of have a clue of what they are doing, then we look for the tech names that are trending on the same direction or are at least moving on the same direction. And then we find the ones with the relative strength or relative weakness on the same direction than the indices. And then we try to find out about continuation moves. So that means that we use key levels, high key levels for continuation on long, and the low key levels for continuation on the shorts. All right. So for here, we had both SPY and QQQ. Let me do this. Now we have it. Right. So we have SPY and QQQ with this let's say this rip and then dip. So after like an hour or something, yeah, like an hour, we saw this thing, right? So this was the rejection of the low of the range on both indices, and then we start fishing our opportunities here. So for Apple, the only thing that I watch on Apple, it's this break, displacement and retest of the 1 minute opening range low. Why this is not showing? All right, yeah. So here, so we had this the 1 minute opening range low, and you will say, hey Neto, why you are not considering this first retest? Well, first, because we didn't have any reaction here, and second, because can you see? If you take a look here, on this zone of the 1 minute opening range, it's exactly the same zone where SPY was failing to reclaim this pre-market high, but also was the same zone where QQQ was actually rejecting this previous day close or the 1 minute opening range, right? So so here it's where we were rejecting the opening price on SPY and the previous day close on QQQ. So I had these circles here for you to see the reaction right there. I don't trade Apple, or I don't trade Apple too much, so I never trust Apple. For being honest, I never trust Apple. However, if you were looking for an opportunity here, after this, all of these touches on the 1 minute opening range low, and when you had finally this rejection, it was retesting here, playing with this level, but when you had this finally, this huge wick, or well, it's not huge, this long wick, and then reclaim the bottom of the previous candle, you open a position here maybe, and your risk will be at the top of all of these retesting candles, and you should be looking for low of the day, or at least like the bodies of the candles of low of the day. But if you were looking at this order block that we created on the first dump, well, the second dump, or the previous low of the day, you had 1 to 2.8 risk reward ratio trade, and well, for being honest, if you didn't have your finger on the trigger here, it will be like super extremely hard to trim your position, because it was on the next candle, right? So it went back and actually broke our invalidation level. However, we had a second opportunity here, and I want you to look at what was happening on both indices. All right, so SPY was failing to reclaim the previous day high. Let me close it a bit. Previous day high here, and also QQQ was failing to reclaim the 5 minute opening range low. All right, so these both reactions here, again, for me, I don't like, like rejecting the previous day high, but I do like this one. This was a break and retest of the 5 minute opening range low on QQQ. So you have the exact same thing here, right? It was the break, displacement, and retest of the 1 minute opening range, and it's actually like kind of an 84% rule from this opportunity. But this one was a bit better. So if you enter here and you have maybe your risk here to the top of this candle, and you were looking again to low of the day, this was a 1 to 2.3 risk reward rate to trade. However, look at these candles. I mean, even if you try to trim something here, probably you were taking like to this place, right, or something like here. So this second trade was a better trade, not only because the reaction on the levels, but also because how the indices were reacting to key levels here. So right here on this entry, as you can see, it was a rejection of previous day high on SPY, and it was a rejection of the 5 minute opening range in QQQ. So this, in confluence with the indices, was a better opportunity than the first one, right? So anyone took Apple today? Uh, Walt, do you think the 1007 candle, 1007? Um, I think it was. I mean, uh, I'm watching indices as a context. Maybe you were rejecting the 5 minute opening range on QQQ. I'm sorry, on SPY, but QQQ was actually inside of the range. And here, not sure what you were looking here, Walt. 1007, 1007. Yeah, like I don't know, like you you were looking the rejection of the previous day high or the rejection of the 5 minute opening range, but anything here was too aggressive. Yeah, I mean the answer is yes, it was too aggressive for shorts. On SPY. Sorry. I think I thought that you were saying about Apple. 1007. Uh, I think I think it was a good trade. I mean, I understand what you did. So this is the break, displacement, and retest of the 5 minute opening range. 1007 was a nice. Yeah, I really think that it was a nice entry. But I don't trade SPY on like this because I don't. I like the tech names because I can have both indices as a context, right? So yeah. So yeah, it was previous day high. Yeah, previous day high, 5 minute open range. Yeah, I mean I like it. I like it. It's just like I like tech names a little bit more because I can compare to the indices, and with the indices you need to be watching a lot of names, right? So, but yeah, I think it was a nice entry here. Just as you said, I mean it's a clean break and retest of the 5 minute opening range low and the previous day high. Uh, but again, I like to use the previous day high as a reference for going long and not for rejections, right? So I like continuation and not rejections. So yeah, all right. So Apple, no one took Apple, so let's go to AMD. AMD was kind of uh, acting weird. On the pre-market, it was showing some strength, but a few minutes before market open, it just melted a bit, and it actually almost hit the pre-market low. So when we opened, we had this reclaim of 95, 97, or 96. key level. That has been a huge key level over the past weeks and months. So once we reclaim this key level, I was waiting for some sort of confirmation here, like a nice displacement and then retest of the 1 minute opening range or even this 96 candle. We had like this retest of the I mean it right now it's 95, 97, but let's say that it's 96. I think 96 it makes more sense just because it's a round number, strike, side number, right? So we have a lot of retests on this 96 key level. So if you were waiting for something like this, I mean this break and retest of this, for me it's an immediate retest here, but just because I mean the both SPY was bouncing on this opening price, but QQQ was actually doing something weird, right? Like it opened to the downside. So uh, again, I like to take the trades on the same direction than the indices. Once there's some clear reaction or some clear trend, right? So here it's not a clear trend. However, if you were just expecting for this level to hold, uh, it 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 had a very nice move to the upside to 97.10. That's previous day high. So and after that, I mean, again, I wouldn't take this because the indices were inside of the range. I wouldn't take this because the indices were inside of the range. But if you were looking for this break and retest, I mean, I don't know, like maybe open your position here at the pre-market high. The stop loss will be this 96 key level, and you were looking previous day high. Well, it's a 1 to 2.55 risk reward ratio trade. And even if you play with your entry, like I mean, how good was your entry here? Or if you actually took it like here on the previous retests, or even here. Well, if you took it like on the previous candles, you had two problems, right? Like first, it was too early in the morning and on a Monday. So again, I like Mondays to wait a bit more than usual, just because I mean we are kind of waiting for market to recover from the hangover for the weekend. But let's say that you take your trade like here, right? Like because this was an impulsive candle here, maybe I don't know, like here on the pre-market high, you were aiming to your risk to the 96 key level, and you were aiming uh, to the previous day high. This was a 1 to 2.6 risk reward ratio trade. Again, I don't like it because both indices were inside of the range, and they ended, like breaking, breaking the key levels on the 5 minute opening range. However, well, this was out of my playbook, but we had a few opportunities later on the day, and actually they were like very clear here. So we had this was 11 in the morning. Again, this is out of my playbook just because of the hour, but once the indices started to looking weak here, failing to reclaim the pre-market high, and here on QQQ was actually failing to reclaim the 1 minute opening range. So once we had this, most of the tech names started to just melt it, right? So here at 11 in the morning, we had this break, displacement, and retest of several things. First was this 95.50. It's a key level on the 15-minute chart, but also it's the 5 minute opening range low but also it was the pre-market low. So here, what was happening with the indices? Well, SPY was rejecting the previous day high, and QQQ was actually retesting the 5-minute opening range low. So this was a nice opportunity here. And if you were aiming to 95, why 95? Because it's a strike, round number, side number. If you were aiming to this 95, this was a 1 to 3.4, 1 to 3.1 risk reward ratio trade. And if you were able to trim your position here, maybe you were able to manage to hold this position, because yes, we had these 3 candles to the upside. Maybe you were a bit red on your remaining position, but look at the reactions here. So reactions here was, let me show you here. So on QQQ, we were rejecting this order block. Yes. QQQ was rejecting this order block created by this the previous low of the day, and what was doing SPY? Yeah, well, SPY was also rejecting this low of the day, right? So here, this retest of the 5-minute opening range low was in confluence with the rejections of both indices to intraday key levels. So if you were able to manage to keep this position here, and you were aiming to, let's say, 94.50, it was a 1 to 3.7 risk reward ratio trade. And if you miss these 2 opportunities, I want to show you this one. It's 11:43, and what was happening on SPY? It was a break, displacement, and nice retest of the pre-market low. And on AMD was the break, displacement, and retest of the previous day high, right? I'm sorry, previous low of the day, and it was this order block created by this up closing candle. So this was a third opportunity to go to the downside, and both indices were showing a lot of weakness by this time. It's not my trading window. However, can you see how clear was this reaction here? So here on AMD, we were retesting this order block at the same time that the pre-market low on SPY. So this is how you look for the, not coincidence, but the confluences on your tech name and your indices. Anyone took an AMD trade today? Let me go to the chat. Okay. Dominic, AMD 952 call today, previous day 952. What you were looking? Previous day high, 1 minute order block, hold, AMD 952. I don't see the order block, and I don't see the previous day high. I mean, previous day high was 97.10, and we had no reaction at that key level. Can you see? We broke previous day high, and then we retested, but we had no reaction here. So 952, it's this green candle, but again, I don't see the order block you said, and the previous day high was a bit higher. So no, I don't know. I also found that some candles are different, like charts from Tony, JW, and Neto chart. They will 1-2 candle different. I don't know why. I mean, I do have kind of the same subscription to TradingView than Jack and Tony, so I don't know. I like the displacement before the retest. I close the trade break even. Okay. The Tesla, we are going to Tesla, pick up 4 SPY calls. Q's holding. Okay. Ale, you did two of them, two of these AMD shorts. The candle to the left was 942 is red for you. 940. Ah, well, 942 is red for you. Okay, so this was kind of a order block for you. Well, I don't know what to say. I took longs. Remember, I sent them to the Discord group today. Nice. Nice one. Well, congratulations if you took wins today. For being honest, the very first hour and something was kind of messy with the indices. So I didn't take a trade until later on the day, like the 10:45. I will show you in a minute. So let me go to Amazon today. So Amazon for me was the one that was super clear direction from the very beginning. As you can see, it was kind of following QQQ. Can you see? However, the reaction against QQQ and SPY was weaker. As you can see, QQQ and SPY, they actually made highs, but Amazon was failing to create a new high from this 1 minute or 5 minute opening range. So for me, this was the weakest one on my chart. So after we started this drop on the indices, I was watching this nice break, displacement and retest of the yesterday's close or previous day close. So this 189 was previous day close. So I actually like this one here, and as you can see, both indices were, well, SPY was actually retesting the 5 minute opening range low, and QQQ was inside the 1 minute and the 5 minute opening range low, but consolidating. And here we were actually dropping a bit. So I took my first position on Amazon here at 180, yeah, 188.70 or something like this. So I actually waited for this second candle here, and when it went below this 1010 candle, I opened my position here. My risk was at the previous day close, so it was 189, and I was aiming to low of the day. So even when it started consolidating a bit, it was actually consolidating on the pre-market low. So for me, it was a nice trade. Even when we had this green candle recovery, it never hit my stop loss level, and it never closed. It never closed above my invalidation level. So I just waited patiently here, and when we hit the 5 minute opening range low, I trimmed my position, like 50% of my position here, and then it was just a piece of cake, because when it failed to reclaim the pre-market low, and also both indices were showing weakness, I actually closed my position like here, 186 something. I actually wasn't expecting the previous day low, but I mean, I just closed my position around here, this area here. So however, we had three different entry opportunities here. So this was the very first one. This was my entry and my exits. But I want to show you something here, guys. So if you were watching closely here, you saw all these consolidation, and also you were watching how both indices were actually having a nice market structure to the downside. So once we bounce on this pre-market low, and both indices were showing lower highs. So this was a second nice opportunity. I actually tried to add to my position, but I couldn't because I was just too slow, and then I just chicken out because we were close to this key level, the 5 minute opening range low. So I just chicken out and I didn't add to my position. But I mean, even with that, it was a nice ride for me. So if you can see this break, displacement, and retest of the pre-market low in confluence with both SPY and QQQ, with a clear lower high and nice market structure to the downside, this could be a nice second opportunity. And if you were looking to the low of the day and your risk was at the top of these retesting candles, you actually had a 1 to 2.4 risk reward ratio trade. And if you missed this second opportunity, we had a third opportunity here. So we had this break, displacement, and retest of the 5 minute opening range low. And also, what was happening on the indices? Well, they both were rejecting this order block created on the first low of the day. So this opportunity was a nice one. Thinking that, can you see it's kind of clear for me, but not everyone was considering this. So it's not like textbook higher lower highs, lower lows, but it's kind of evident, right? I mean, if you can you see, can you guys see these lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high? Can you see it here? Let me know on the chat. Is this something that it's actually evident for you? Yes. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for replying. So when I see this kind of market structure on the indices, for me, I'm just trying to look for the weaker or the stronger name on my chart. And for me, this today was Amazon, the one looking weaker. That's what I did today. All right, so let's go to Nvidia. So Nvidia, again, this was kind of an easy entry, even if you had something like here. So okay, so let me explain. Nvidia was also looking very weak since the very opening. We had this drop to key level, this 108.50, and then we tried to recover, but we were consolidating here around the pre-market low 109.06. And can you see, guys, this order block, or why I consider this order block here? It's kind of a support resistance order block, key level. So if you were watching this price action here, trying to reclaim intraday key levels, failing, going down. This is if you are a pattern trader, this was a nice head and shoulders. So there was a lot of signs of Nvidia looking weak. However, if you were waiting for strong signals from the indices, I think this is the place of the strong signals to the downside. All right. So here it's 1049, 1050, or let's say this one, 1046. It's failing to reclaim pre-market high on SPY, and QQQ actually bouncing or rejecting or failing to reclaim previous day close, and it's the 5 minute opening range, no, it's the 1 minute opening range low on QQQ. So if you were looking at that price action on the indices, and you can see that this is a strong area of price or sellers and buyers fighting. So we can actually move this. Oh, sorry. We can actually move this one to something like this, right? You have your risk at the top of these candles, and you were aiming to low of the day. So this was almost a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio trade. However, look at how weak price was here. So even when both indices were trying to recover, well, what was happening on QQQ? It was retesting the 5 minute opening range low, and SPY was actually retesting the previous day high, but going lower, right? So again, this price action here and the reaction on both indices was telling me that this is gonna move lower. So even when I had this as the profit target, the previous low of the day, probably this will be like more accurate, right? Like going to 107.50, or even to probably to the round numbers, right? Like 107. So if you had something like this was an awesome trade, right? It was a 1 to 7 risk reward ratio trade. And after this, probably you didn't have any other good opportunity other than maybe this. This was the previous low of the day, but can you see there was no real displacement here? There was no real displacement here, so I don't know. Like I wouldn't look for an entry here, but here it was kind of clear. It was kind of clear. So anyone took an Nvidia trade today? Wild, I was looking at that as well. 10:30, 10:30, 10:30. Yeah, that was a good one. All right. No one took Nvidia today. That was kind of the most clear drop this morning. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. All right, and let's go to Tesla. So what happened with Tesla? You know, guys, I don't like to take trades. Well, I don't like anymore to take trades right at the open. But this one was a very nice trade if you took it, right? This was a clear retest of the previous day high. Previous day high right here. This is the retest of the previous day high. And what was happening on the indices? That's what I didn't like. So we had QQQ going south with non-stop. And we had, yeah, we had a SPY right at the pre-market high. So there was no confluence here for anything. Even on this 934 candle, SPY was kind of retesting previous day high. Probably that was a nice signal. But QQQ was doing nothing, right? I mean, was doing nothing. Actually, QQQ was looking weaker this morning than SPY. But if you were following this Tesla trade, I mean, the thing is that it happened on the third or fourth candle. But if you open your position here, let's say like here, risk was at the low of this week. Of this week, and you were looking for a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio trade. maybe here. This was pre-market high. Yeah, well, this pre-market high was 1 to 1.6. Then we had this pullback, and if you were looking, yeah, if you were looking for a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio trade, 294 was your number, was your target, and yeah, I mean, it made it. It made it. For me, it was just too early in the morning. It was too early in the morning, but not sure what you think. Not sure what you think, but for me, it was just too early in the morning. I know some people in the community they took this trade. That was an amazing trade. It's just too early for me. Uh, but let's look for any other opportunities here. So what about this? So here we had we had this break and retest of the pre-market low, and you will say, "Hey, Neto, this is a very small displacement here." And yes, I agree, but let's look what was happening on the indices, right? Okay, so here on this retest of the pre-market low, uh, first we had this drop, right? So this drop was awesome. This drop was very heavy. So we tried to recover. We actually went stuck into this uh, daily gap. When we actually had this lower high, can you see, guys, lower highs, lower lows? When we broke down the daily low of the day, uh, remember when you are going short, it's you don't need, well, don't let's don't say you don't need, but when you are going short, sometimes you can be a bit more aggressive than when going long. Do you remember this elevator down, escalator up? Well, that's something that happens on short positions, right? So if you were looking for this kind of confirmation after this drop or this break of the low of the day, pre-market low, we had this very small displacement and retest. But what is was nice was the reaction on the key levels, right? So can you see, even when we had a green candle, the wick was actually just touching the pre-market low, and sellers were stepping in here. So the next candle was a nice one, and then if you open a position here and you were aiming to this 281 key level on the 15-minute chart, or even if you were looking for the 280, something like this was a 1 to 3.5 risk reward ratio trade. And what I want you to see is what was happening on indices. So again, SPY was below previous day high, and QQQ was below the 5-minute opening range. So these are the confluences that you are looking for going short. Well, that's what I saw. These were the two opportunities. So something that I like from Tesla, it's because of all of the volatility that it has. You can actually make money on the morning going long, and later in the day you can make more money going short, right? So that's something that I love from trading options. So that's all what I see today, guys. So let me go to the chat and see what your opinions, your comments. Mr. Mobo, I took Tesla long at 953. My thinking was that QQQ was bouncing off previous day high, and Tesla was retesting the 5-minute opening range high plus order block from 936 candle. What do you think about that entry? Let me see. So it's a 953. 953. There's absolutely no reaction on that candle, my friend. So yeah, this is well, I don't see the reaction here. Maybe if you were looking for this 952 and you were waiting for this candle to have some continuation to the upside, maybe, but this 953, the one that you said, I mean, it actually closed below the previous two candles, right? So, uh, so this is the 5 minute opening range high. I can see what you were trying to do, Mr. Mobile. Yeah, I took it at 952 candle. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Well, now I see what you were doing. Uh, Tesla QQQ was bouncing off previous day high. Well, no, that's 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 no. Ah, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's true. It was bouncing from previous day high, and SPY was actually retesting the pre-market high. Yeah, I see what you tried to do. Yeah, Mr. Mobile. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I actually like this one. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work. But now I can see what you were saying. So 473.09, that was previous day high, and QQQ was actually retesting. But can you see there's no reaction on but you said 952, right? Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it was a nice bounce out of. This was a nice bounce out of the previous day high, and also it's a pre-market pre-market high on SPY. Yeah. I mean, I see what you did. Um, I see what you did. That's all. Um, Tesla put. I took 1034, 1034, 1034. All right. On the retested previous day high. Yeah, well, it almost retested previous day high. Yeah. So as I said, I mean, I wouldn't take this one thinking on the previous day high because I like to trade continuations. But I will see more like the intraday price action, like it was bouncing from the 5 minute opening range low, maybe, and it actually never retested the previous day high. Well, a few candles later, right? But here your 1034, it's a retest of the 5 minute opening range low. Is there a way to avoid that 951 Tesla call trade? Yes, if you don't trade at all. No, I see what you did here, and for being honest, that was a nice entry for me. I mean, if you are asking me, that was a nice entry. Again, it was just unfortunate that it actually didn't work, uh, but uh, I'm looking at the three charts, and they look like it was a nice opportunity there. It just didn't work. Your job here, Boyd, your job here, it's to define a nice risk, something that it's inside of your system, and take the loss, but take a small loss, right? Because if you waited all the way down to, I don't know, like two 285 or something to cut your losses, well, that's where the the issues start, right? Because you are just holding out of hope. But if you were trading inside of your system with a nice risk management plan, that's it. I mean, you just take your loss and move forward. Um, Thank you, Victor. See you later. One stop loss, one more minute. Okay, Mr. Mobile. Yeah, it was a quick stop out for me. Ale, if you don't trade at all, yeah, I mean, yeah, how I can't lose? Well, if you don't trade, right? I mean, but if you are trying to win, I mean, you need to risk something, right? So I remember. I don't remember who said this last week, but I mean, you can't expect making, like thousands of dollars if you are not risking hundreds, right? So again, I mean, if you are, you just need to be responsible and disciplined with your trade management plan and with your risk management plan. So if you have a decent stop loss according to your system and everything, well, it's okay. I mean, there's no system with a 100% win rate. Sometimes it just doesn't work, right? Okay. Uh, Took Tesla puts at 1056, 1056, 1056, 1056. Yeah, that was a nice one, because it was retesting the pre-market low and the indices were showing weakness. Yeah, if you waited here, I mean, this was actually an easy to hold, right? Because look at the reactions here. I mean, if you were waiting for 280, this was a 3.5 risk reward ratio trade. So you should be having some trims here on 281. That's a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio trade. And then look at the price action. I mean, even this pullback was right at the order blocks on the indices. So you should be, if you are looking at the three charts, you can manage to hold here, and then boom, the drop, and it was a nice drop to the next key level, right? 270.50, 270.50, 277.50. Why 277.50? Because it's the strike, right? So here, can you see, guys, the reaction right at this key level? There was some sort of reaction, but very weak. So what's next? 275. What happened at 275? Well, then we start having some sort of reaction here. But as you can see here, it went all the way down to 274.15 or 13. That's a key level on the 15-minute chart. So yeah, I mean, I receive a lot of questions on the on Discord and here in the comments of the channel. Hey Neto, so how can I spot the best opportunities? And what I always say is be patient. I mean, if you wait for the indices to show you their real move, the real trend, it's gonna be way easier to choose your next trades. Even if it takes time. I mean, you don't need to trade on the first 10 minutes of the day. I mean, that's awesome if you can, right? But that should not be a rule. So if you need to wait 1 hour, it's okay to wait 1 hour. You just need to be patient and see your setup to show you its hand, right? So it's gonna be easier if you are patient. So just like this, right? Once you start looking the indices being very weak, did you see how many opportunities we spotted on the different charts? Most of the names show you something, and the thing is that you needed to be patient for the indices to show you that they wanted to move to the downside. So it's just, this is just a patience game, guys. So don't try to rush, all right? So Neto, which ticker do you prefer to trade? I like Amazon and AMD, then Tesla and Nvidia, and that's it. I mean, I sometimes trade Apple, but I mean, never trust Apple, guys. Never trust Apple. Let's go. Well, I need to go, guys, but let me do this last time with Palantir for Ale. Ale, it's 11:04. 11:04. Well, what do you know? Break, displacement, and retest of the pre-market low. And what was happening on the indices? can you notice why I draw these circles on the indices? It's so evident. If you guys can wait and sit over your hands until the indices show you what they want you to do, it's gonna be super easy to spot these trades, to spot these opportunities. Uh, Neto, what tickers would you suggest for a beginner trader? Uh, Goody, I will say, what do you want to do? I mean, if you want cheap contracts in the money or very close to be in the money, I will say Amazon, AMD, Amazon, AMD. Usually their contracts are between the 80 cents and $2. So they are like very affordable and they move well. I mean, they move well. I mean, they don't move like Tesla, but they do have good volatility, so and good volume. So I like Amazon and AMD. I mean, uh, but take a look to the different names. There's people that they like to trade Palantir, Netflix, or many other names. Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft is top three or top two largest companies in the world. I don't like. I don't like too much trading Microsoft, uh, but take a look. Sometimes Microsoft, it's also super easy to trade. What do you see here? Break, displacement and retest of the 1 minute opening range. Break, displacement and retest of the 5 minute opening range. And look at this. What the indices were doing, the same thing. The same thing. Can you see? So Microsoft is one of the names that move very similar to the indices. You just need to spot the opportunities. You need to be patient with Microsoft. But it offers good opportunities. Microsoft offers good opportunities. I just don't like the spread on the contracts, but I mean, sometimes when it moves, it moves. Can you see this one? What was happening here? Pre-market low. So if you took this one here, look how many times it failed to reclaim pre-market low. And what was happening on the indices? QQQ, 1 minute opening range low. SPY, failing to reclaim pre-market high. So this was a super nice opportunity. Let me show you here. So, I mean, anything here. Anything here, you were risk at the top of these wicks, you were looking, actually, if you were looking low of the day, it was a 1 to 6 risk reward rated trade. And you never close above your stop loss. Even if you bought here, where do you want? Where do you want? Here, fake here. I mean, this was a nice trade. And a trade from the pre-market low on Microsoft. Can you see? So there's a lot of opportunities. Palantir, Microsoft, Netflix. I used to like Google, but I don't know. I just prefer Amazon and AMD. All right. Okay, guys. Well, that's all for today. I'm gonna post the recording on the usual channel. Thank you for joining today. I am very sorry, and I promise that I will try to fix all the technical issues today. But see you tomorrow. Bye.